Tarot is a form of divination that uses a deck of cards, typically consisting of 78 cards, to gain insight into the past, present, or future. Each card has its own meaning and symbolism, and the way they are interpreted can vary depending on the reader and the context of the reading. The deck is usually divided into two main parts: the major arcana and the minor arcana. The major arcana consists of 22 cards that represent significant life themes and archetypal energies, while the minor arcana includes 56 cards that reflect more everyday situations and emotions. Tarot cards, particularly the major arcana, have been influenced by various esoteric traditions, including Hermeticism, Kabbalah, alchemy, astrology, Rosicrucianism. It is an initiatic fraternity, a system of progressive moral instruction which is taught by using symbols and allegories. Both Tarot and Freemasonry use rich, symbolic imagery to convey deeper meanings. For instance, the Tarot's major arcana cards are filled with symbols that can be interpreted in the context of Masonic teachings. The connection between Tarot and Freemasonry is quite fascinating and has historical roots. Freemasonry, a fraternal organization that arose in the early 18th century, and Tarot, which has origins in the 15th century, share a common interest in symbolism and esoteric knowledge. One of the key figures in linking Tarot with Freemasonry was Antoine Coeur de Gébelin, a Freemason and former Protestant pastor. In his 1781 book Le Monde Primitif, he proposed that the Tarot deck was a repository of ancient Egyptian wisdom and linked the major arcana cards to Egyptian deities and symbols. This interpretation influenced later occultists and Freemasons, including Eliphas Levi and Arthur Edward Waite, who further developed the esoteric meanings of tarot cards. While there isn't a direct origin shared between Tarot and Freemasonry, the Masonic influence on Tarot's esoteric interpretation is undeniable. Freemasons contributed to the evolution of Tarot's symbolism, particularly in the way the cards are interpreted in relation to ancient mysteries and the Hebrew alphabet. Particularly Brother A. E. Waite, a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, co-created the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, one of the most popular tarot decks today. Freemasonry and Tarot both explore themes of personal growth, enlightenment, and the journey of the soul. The Fool's journey through the major arcana can be seen as a metaphor for the Masonic journey towards self-improvement and enlightenment. The Tarot and Freemasonry systems originated in a remote past, as independent parallel lines. However, Masonry symbolism and the Tarot archetypes are at their deepest level convergent in their meanings and teachings, much closer than appreciated from the surface. I propose that the so-called and well-known The Fool's Journey can be interpreted as a Masonic initiation. Not a Masonic initiation in the narrow sense of a first-degree ritual, but as a broader, encompassing learning experience that is not only reduced to the craft or Blue Lodge, but which includes several orders and chapters beyond the 3 initial degrees. The Tarot's 78 key system commences with card number 0, traditionally called the Madman in French tarot cards. The Fool was represented as a vagrant, a beggar, a person without purpose. But modern tarot renditions, including the classic Rider-Waite deck, show a young man ready to go on a journey. The Fool, also called the Blind Man, as a symbol of humanity, which is the blind slave of matter. The blind man is in spiritual darkness, his eyes hoodwinked by the veils of materialism. Affirmations of this card are, I am open to a new beginning, and spread your wings and fly. In numerology, number 0 is interpreted as an open container, encompassing everything and nothing. Card 0 has several meanings, including innocence, the start of a new journey, risk-taking, blind faith. In the words of Brother A. E. Waite, the fool signifies the consummation of everything. When that which began his initiation at 0 attains the term of all numeration and existence. This card passes through all the numbered cards, and it's changed in each, as the natural man passed through worlds of experience, worlds of successive attainment. Tarot specialist Rachel Pollack, on considering the fool as journeyer, writes, the fool, like all of us, begins life ignorant of his true nature. Some describe him as a soul incarnating into a body, and we should notice that he is not pushed or pulled or compelled. This prince of the other world is simply in search of experience. Observe that it is a non-negotiable requisite that our candidates take a leap of faith by their own will and accord, free of external influences. The fool carries a wand with a wallet, the contents of which are up for debate. Some claims are the emblems of the minor arcana cards. These are the sword, pentacles, and cups, while others believe are his follies and vices. You have now received sufficient information to understand who the fool's energy represents in our lodges. I explain. He has divested himself of money and valuable metallic substances, which he will not bring when he jumps onto his initiatic journey. His bag with its contents will be left outside the door of the lodge with the magician. The Fool of the Tarot clearly represents the energy of Freemasonry's candidate. Brother A. E. Waite writes, the edge which opens on the depth has no terrors, as if angels were waiting to uphold him, if it came about that he leapt from the height. Truly revealing is this allusion to angels. For as the angels of Christianity are messengers of God, flying between heaven and earth, carrying information both ways, the deacons, who act as the candidate's guide and translator, have as implements of their office wands that are caped with the image of a dove, messengers of men. Card 0, the Fool, also known as the beggar, the blind man, and the madman. Similarly, Masonry's candidates enter their initiation poor and penniless, just like the tarot's beggar, unable to perceive material light, resembling the blind man. Many will say that entering a room full of strangers with eyes shut and unarmed could be seen as the act of a madman. The fool has the bright rising sun to his back, like Adam when banished from the Garden of Eden, flaming sword behind him. This image suggests that the fool is directing his course towards the west, in search of that which he has lost. Our candidate sooner than later will realize that he is on a similar path. Symbol of new beginnings. The Fool represents the start of a journey, much like the initiation process in Freemasonry. Both symbolize a quest for knowledge and enlightenment. Innocence and potential. The Fool's innocence and potential for growth mirror the Masonic ideal of a new initiate who begins their journey with an open mind and heart, ready to learn and grow. Spiritual journey. The Fool's journey through the major arcana can be seen as a metaphor for the Masonic journey. Each step in the Fool's path represents different stages of spiritual and personal development, akin to the degrees in Freemasonry. Symbolic imagery. The Fool often carries a bag, symbolizing the tools and knowledge he will gather along his journey. This is similar to the Masonic symbolism of tools used for moral and spiritual building. Open Sesame. The famous magical phrase in the story of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves in Antoine Galland's version of 1001 Nights. It opens the mouth of the cave in which a treasure is hidden. Open Sesame sounds a lot like Open Sesame, but this is just a coincidence. In many spiritual traditions, sesame seeds symbolize immortality, prosperity, and ancestral connection. They are often used in rituals to honor ancestors, cleanse negative energy, and promote spiritual growth. Likewise, when the outer guard gives the magical knocks of psyche, soul, and body on the doors of Freemasonry, in order to open them to candidates who will be able to find within the hallowed halls of the craft paths to spiritual elevation while achieving positive physical vibration through time immemorial rituals which assist in healing man's soul. In numerology, number 1 indicates the beginning, the individual. Other meanings include willpower, desire, manifestation. Rachel Pollack instructs that on the table of the magician lie the 4 emblems of Tarot's minor arcana, as if he is the master of the physical world. Masonic interpretation. The outer guard is the only office bearer stationed without the doors of the lodge, as if the outer guard has graduated from the lodge university and he is now its face to the world. Rachel Pollack explains. The magician's number, that 1 in Roman numerals, implies the conscious self, the ego, which is simply the Latin word for I. At the same time, magic, including the magic of divination, happens when we can allow energy to enter us and then direct it to manifestation. The ability to make ourselves a kind of opening for the magical energy of divination or any other magic is symbolized in the magician's posture, his hand raised to the heavens, his finger pointed to the ground. His position resembles a lightning rod. Rachel Pollack continues, the infinity sign above the magician's head, called lemniscate, symbolizes the truth that life is eternal, without beginning or end, that nothing is destroyed but only changes form. As a sideways number 8, it indicates the great hermetic truth, as above so below, but also a variation, as without so within, as expressed in the emerald tablet. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. This principle leads to concepts like equilibrium, harmony, and the interconnectedness of all things. The magician posture mimics that of an outer guard when raising his hand to knock at the door of the lodge. The duties of the outer guard include receiving candidates properly prepared to be initiated. These neophytes bring to the lodge the low vibrating energy of the uninitiated. In time, it is expected that this energy will be transfixed into an exalted, higher pulsation, attained through the elevation of his conscience, a better knowledge of himself, and a positive and uplifting influence on his surrounding milieu. These qualities will invariably bring him closer to his supreme being. An important but subtle message is transmitted through the office of the Tyler. For Masonically speaking, there is no truer return to reality, than the fact that after a brother has attaining the highest office in the lodge, and thereafter becoming the master's chief advisor as immediate past master, he may then be assigned to an office without the boundaries of the meeting room for at least 1 year, sometimes longer. This is a great lesson of humility to the ego. 12 months later, this brother will revive, coming back into the lodge's meeting room as if raising from its own ashes, like the mythological phoenix bird. A triumphant return indeed. According to renowned Canadian author, lecturer, astrologer, mystic, and Mason brother Manly P. Hall, the magician stands behind a table on which are spread out a number of objects, prominent among them a cup, the Holy Grail, and the cup placed by Joseph in Benjamin's sack, a coin, the tribute money and the wages of a master builder, and a sword, that of Goliath, and also the mystic blade of the philosopher, which divides the false from the truth. From a Masonic standpoint, the coin in tarot terms alludes to worldly possessions, money, and costly ore articles, which must be abandoned before a candidate enters his initiation ceremony. These material belongings will be carefully guarded by the outer guard. Cups in divination practices represent emotions and feelings, in regard of which our ritual reminds us that we are never to enter the lodge where there is a brother with whom we are discrepant, or against whom we entertain animosity. In such cases, it is expected that we shall invite him to withdraw, in order to settle differences in friendly fashion. If that be happily effected, we may then clothe ourselves and re-enter the lodge and work together with the love and harmony which should at all times characterize us. But if unfortunately our differences are of such nature as not to be easily resolved, it is better that one or both should retire, in this manner avoiding that the harmony of the lodge be disturbed by our presence. In tarot, swords refer to thoughts, ideas, and the spoken word. The Tyler's sword serves to keep off cowens and eavesdroppers, esoterically speaking, to keep at sword lengths all unworthy thoughts and deeds. Protection and vigilance. Both the Tyler and the magician are guardians in their own right. The Tyler guards the physical and symbolic entrance to the lodge, while the magician guards the threshold between the spiritual and material worlds. Use of tools. The Tyler uses a sword to symbolize his role, while the magician uses the symbols of the tarot suits to manifest his intentions. Both roles emphasize the importance of tools and symbols in their duties. Manifestation and intention. The magician's role in tarot is to manifest and bring forth intentions into reality. Similarly, the Tyler's role is to ensure that the intentions and rituals of the lodge are protected and carried out without interference.